What's up, my beautiful people? Exile451 here with another daily dose of Reddit Hope and Happy, and today we're going into r/AskReddit, where kids chug bottles of hot sauce, so let's get to it. Okay, so the AskReddit question was, parents of Reddit, what's the funniest reason you've been called into school to collect your child? TLDR, malicious use of hot sauce. In 7th grade, one of my friends felt that he could handle some Dave's Insanity sauce. Some of us chipped in, and $60 was on the line if he could down a capful for 5 minutes without food/water. I bought the bottle and showed him I had it in the middle of band practice. He swiped it from my hands and drank about 1/3 of the bottle. He immediately turned bright red, and you could tell he regretted this decision. Doing his best to hold it down, he went out into the hall and grabbed some water to try and alleviate the heat. It did not work, and he vomited all over the floor. So we went down to the nurse's office. They called his father and told him to take him to the hospital to make sure he was okay. They went fishing instead. My father was called to pick me up, and nothing ever really came of it. We let my friend have the $60. Well, he'd certainly earned it. Follow-up to that one. Reminds me of this kid named Bryce who chugged a bottle of soy sauce to impress a girl at Bible camp. He threw up about 15 minutes later near the swings. Ah, yes, because nothing will impress the fairer sex like chugging a bottle of soy sauce in front of them to prove just how strong you are. I mean, honestly, I know I've done some dumb stuff to impress girls that I'm not going to get into, but like, what is the logic behind that? My mom told me that when my brother was in grade school, she got the call to pick him up for a day's suspension. Turned out that during lunch, he opened his lunchbox and pulled out a can of Foster's. It was empty and it was meant to be a joke, but the school didn't see it that way. He was 9 and right at the start of a decade-long mission to raise hell. Hey, I gotta give the kid credit. That's not bad for an elementary school kid. My professor cited my mom because she said I was writing too slow and turned my test in right as the bell rang. My mom had to leave work early to hear about her child writing slow. The reason I was writing slow was because on my last test I was docked points for handwriting. So this time I made sure to have the purtiest, most fanciest handwriting that teacher had ever seen. After that, the teacher stopped docking me points due to handwriting. I remember those days. And I'm so glad I'm well past that because my handwriting still sucks. I mean, seriously, even I can't read it half the time. And I wish I was joking on that. I'm being 100% serious. My handwriting is terrible. My child's first grade teacher was upset that he had accidentally smushed a butterfly on the playground at recess. When I got there, my child was also missing his glasses. She hadn't noticed this. How very observant. Oh my. I have 4 kids, all adults now, who were pretty high-spirited back in the day. My oldest son, however, wins the prize from an incident in 6th grade. I got a call one afternoon that he had been sent to the principal's office. Nothing new there. And I needed to come get him at once. Uh-oh. He had mooned the 2nd graders. All of them. And their teachers. Oh, man. Not a parent, but as a kid, when I got Pokemon Yellow, I was so dang into it that when we went out for lunch one day at school, I got inside this huge bush that was practically hollow inside. It was among a load of other large bushes and trees at the side of the school field, and rarely ever was entered by students because we weren't really allowed. So I sat there for hours playing Pokemon, and when I came out, it was 3 p.m. School closed at 3:30. I had been in there since 12:30, and my mother was at the school and was freaking out because she thought they let me leave the school alone. Oh my gosh. Man, these days that would force a school-wide lockdown and you'd have news crews and everything. Which, granted, you want to take a missing child seriously, but still. That actually reminds me of a similar story from my life, because as anyone who's been here any length of time knows, I'm full of them. So my family and I were taking a road trip through Canada on vacation one summer, and we were taking a ferry. I don't remember where exactly, but we were taking a ferry, and there was an arcade on it, and I got into playing I think it was like Area 51, the shooter in the arcade. And I got so engrossed in it that I didn't even realize the boat had stopped. I didn't even know that we were getting ready to leave until a security guard came up to me and was like, "Are you my name?" And I'm like, yeah. And then it hit me like, oh, wait, the boat has stopped. And she was just like, "Yeah, your family's looking for you." I was like, "Oh, sorry." And my dad was not happy at all. As you could probably imagine, but yeah. When I was in 2nd grade, my parents got me a PlayStation for Christmas, along with Twisted Metal 2. I loved that game so much that younger me decided it was a good idea to write an essay about the game for my class. It was an essay about descriptive settings and detailing the environment. Needless to say, I tried to capture all of the game's intense violence. They sent me home because my teacher probably thought I was gonna become a school shooter. Well, these days they just kick you out of school, but frick. Seriously though, I mean, a PlayStation 1, like, that's all square block pixelated violence. It's not even that bad compared to like today. I mean, I'm just thinking of, even like Resident Evil 4 on GameCube, for example. Like, that was far more graphic than anything you'd see on the PlayStation. Oh, and on that note, Resident Evil 7 or Biohazard or whatever you want to call it, it's one of the few games I cannot play in VR. It is that freaky to me. I mean, my gosh, the second boss fight, I literally just about jumped out of my seat. Oh my gosh, that Mama Baker was scary. Frick. Oh. If anyone else has got some similar stories to that, though, feel free to share in the comments, because I'd love to hear your own personal stories along the same line. Or if you just have a story about picking up kids for doing stupid stuff, feel free to comment too. I'd love to start a conversation. I was the kid, and I was in 3rd grade. I climbed on a tree, not even that high, and then I wanted to climb down. A teacher who hated me saw me and told me to stay there and not to move. I told her it's no problem for me to come down, but she insisted I stayed there and turned around to call the fire brigade to get me down. I had enough and climbed down anyway, and then she called my mom because it was my fault the fire brigade was called for no reason. It's funny now, but wasn't at the time. One day I was called to pick up my daughter from school. I asked why and was vaguely told she had been caught cheating, was being disrespectful to the teacher, and had destroyed government property. Holy crap, I thought. What had she done? My mind instantly went through scenarios in which she had cheated on a test, got caught, then my sweet little 7-year-old had cursed the teacher while throwing something through a window. I got to the school, found my scared daughter in the principal's office looking totally dejected, and asked for an explanation. I discovered the cheating was that she had giggled while playing a game where someone was it, and the other half of the classroom had to guess who it was. The disrespecting the teacher was from her crossing her arms when she was being told how she wrecked the game. The best was the explanation for destroying government property. During story time, she was picking at loose carpet threads. I was extremely angry with my daughter the whole drive from work, and after this load of WTF, it instantly transferred to anger with the school. You called me here because she giggled, crossed her arms, and picked at some old nasty carpet? I was heated and took my daughter home, letting her know I was a bit upset with her, but I also let her know that there would be no more punishment, as she'd been through enough. We went home, watched cartoons, and I made her favorite grilled cheese and tomato soup for lunch. So normally I'm on the side of the teachers when it comes down to parent and school squabbles, just because the teacher's the authority figure and whatnot, but there are examples like this where the teacher is obviously out of line, and the parent is well within their rights to be upset at the teacher. I'd say a good portion of the time parents are making up stupid allegations about the teacher hating their child or this, that, or the other, and that's one of the things I think that makes teaching so difficult. But in cases like this, the mom's absolutely right. First day of 1st grade, I get a call mid-morning from the school saying my son had gotten in trouble. He was caught as he was trying to leave the building. A little backstory, he went to a small church school for kindergarten made up of only 5 kids, and he was the only boy. So when they had playtime, all the girls wanted to play house and things of that nature, and he of course didn't. He wanted to build and make things, so the teacher would let him do his own thing. Now, being in a new school, they had playtime and he did not want to do what they were all doing, so he was looking at a book. The teacher called for him to come over, which he did, but 2 other boys just happened to be laughing. Not at him, just amongst themselves. He thought it was about him and stood up, grabbed his backpack, and walked out and stood on the sidewalk. When I asked why he left, his reply was, "This is where the bus dropped me off, so I was just waiting for it to come pick me up." Not me, but my sister. She got a call from her son's very Catholic school that he needed to be picked up. She gets to the school and the principal said that he had to go home for the day because he peed on the tree outside at recess. He really laid into her how they had to bleach the tree. Seriously, they poured bleach on the tree because a little kid peed on it. And it was terrible, and how she shouldn't be teaching her son these things. My sister looked him straight in the eye and asked, "Do you really think I have the right plumbing to have taught him that? Yell at my husband when he comes in next time." She's got a point. My child with a mild tree nut allergy went to the nurse since she ate a mystery food and her throat felt weird. She has been evaluated and her allergy does not warrant an EpiPen. I rush over because she usually gets hysterical and would need Benadryl, which the school can't administer. I arrive and she is all smiles. She feels better now after some water. The mystery food? Fuego tacos. Minor edit, she was 6 when this happened. My mom once had to collect me since I ate 12 hot dogs. Way more than my share. I think we were allowed 4 each, but I bartered away some Zelda merch, mainly those sort of puffy stickers I'd gotten from the Swedish Nintendo Club. I threw them all up on the ride home and proceeded to throw up for 3 days. I've never since touched a hot dog, except vegetarian ones. Not me, but a classmate of a coworker sent everyone home once many years ago. He nicked a decent bit of elemental potassium from the chemistry lab and dropped it down the sewer access pipe outside the school. This was not good for the school's plumbing. The city had to dig up the sidewalk to repair things. Certainly hope he didn't get caught, because his parents would be on the hook for that bill, and that would not be cheap. My ex and his friends got suspended for making a health video that featured an Easter Bunny costume humping a potato can and saying, "Radioactive penis wankers." His mother was livid, his father couldn't keep a straight face. I have no idea what the real project was, but this is what they turned in. I was there, but not in the video, so I never got in trouble. What sort of project would lead to that, though? That's... Seriously, like, where do you get that? I, too, was the child. I peed on my friend in 5th grade. We were competing in who could pee the furthest back from the urinal, when a buddy of mine decided to run underneath it for laughs. Hand slipped, peed down his back, sent to the principals. I remember my parents having to come get me when I was in, I think, kindergarten, because I had a carton of chocolate milk with lunch that day, got sick later on, and threw up all over the back of the girl in front of me. That was almost 20 years ago, and I still remember who it was and the incident happening. We graduated high school together, and she would periodically remind me of it happening as well. Accident, obviously, no malice intended, but... There's more funny and uplifting AskReddit content at the playlist link here on the left, or if you want to see what YouTube thinks would be best for you, go ahead and click the button right there on the right. Now you guys, stay safe, stay healthy, stay inside if you're supposed to. I will see you all tomorrow. Until then, I'm Exile451. Stay beautiful, people.